When Buddha first taught Dharma, he didn't use the word emptiness. He was talking about impermanence and selflessness. Selflessness and emptiness is same thing. Selflessness, we talk about two selflessness. Selflessness of the self and selflessness of the phenomena. What is it that I am? What is it that I am? Am I the body? Am I the feelings? Am I the perception, the consciousness that I have? Whatever you look at, you find that there is nothing which is independently existing on its own. So when you understand this, everything is changing. Everything is momentary. Your parts of your body is also momentary. Your thoughts are also momentary. Your consciousness is also momentary. When you look at what you are, and I say this is me, but this me is a aggregate. Aggregate means many things put together. There's no one thing. Even my body is made of like millions of different cells, billions of different cells. All of them are always changing. I say that I am when I was born and I am when I am now, the same thing we feel. But actually, we cannot be, because the time when I was born, I was just this much, or this much. Then now I am this much. And totally different. Even my mother, if she didn't see it for a long time, would not recognize me. Everything in me keeps on changing. The scientists have found out very clearly that after every 7 years, there's not one cell in me remains from the time 7 years before. So what I am is a little bit like the river. So we look at the river and say that this is the river which was there for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. And we call that river. And we say that this river existed for a long time. But actually when we look at the river, what is the river? The river is the water that's flowing. So if you look at the river, water that's flowing, the water that is there 1 second before is not there now. It's always changing. So what I am is also like that, changing all the time. Although we think I am the same being, I am the same person, everything is same thing, and I will be the same thing, I will be same. But what happened in the past is totally gone. It's something else, all different things. What is now is another. What will be is different. Something that happened before, I hold on to it. I take it very seriously. It happened to me there, and I'm so upset, and I'm so unhappy, and And then we worry about tomorrow, what will happen, and things like that. But actually, it's not one thing. So therefore, if I deeply understand this, recognize this, and realize this, then you can actually have a deep understanding that I don't have to be so affected by everything that's in the past or the future and things like that. So I am always changing. I don't really exist even more than few moments, it's all. So when I understand that deeply, I am a interdependent entity. I am a momentary entity. There's nothing in me there which is totally independently, truly existing on its own. And that's called emptiness. That's why the name emptiness is given. So not only me, but everything is like that. Anything that you look at, the big things like the solar system or the world, the small things like the tiniest kind of atom, if you look at it, it's made of many things. It's not one thing. It's made of many causes, many conditions, many elements, and they are always changing. There's nothing totally existing on its own, anything. So that's emptiness. If everything is emptiness like that, how things appear, how things exist, they exist in an illusory way. They exist because it's interdependent, because it's relatively existing. They exist because it's always changing. If things always didn't change, it would not exist. We exist because our cells are changing all the time. New cells are growing and old cells are dying, and that's why we exist. If nothing grew and nothing changed, we'll be not there. A way everything exists is in that changing way, growing way, interdependent way, dependently existing, relatively existing. Everything is existing either dependently or relatively. Everything is emptiness in its nature. But we don't know that. We don't know that, and therefore we think everything exists on its own. Everything exists independently. So therefore, I always have aversion, attachment to myself, to others, and then we have these emotions. I want this, I don't want this, I have to get this, I don't want to get this. The samsaric state of mind is based on that misunderstanding of how things really are. So therefore, if we could clearly understand how things exist, how I exist, then I don't have to be attached to anything, I don't have to have aversion to anything, I don't have to run after anything, I don't have to run away from anything, because there's nothing to run after and everything is changing anyway. So if I want to get something also, when I get it, it's not the same thing as I wanted it before. It's all changed. And me also, where is me? What is me? I'm not one thing, it's always changing. So when I understand this, I don't have to do anything in a way. I can relax. Everything is illusory, a little bit like a dream, a little bit like an illusion. Of course, you can do things, you can, whatever, but it doesn't need to be so emotionally involved. The way we do now is so emotionally involved. Like I like it so much, I want it so much, or I don't want it so much, and then we create pain and problem, and we go mad about something, or we're stressed and overwhelmed, and those things is not really necessary. So when I understand that deeply, nature of things is all emptiness, interdependent, momentary, and within that I have this awareness. The awareness is also not something totally existing on its own. It's actually like space. It's knowing thing, but not there, like a space. If I could understand this, then in this sphere or world or universe of emptiness, my consciousness, my awareness can perform like, anything. It does not need to be stuck in anything. So you can be totally free. You can do anything. You can play. You can be totally free. There's nothing that can obstruct you. You kind of experience the total liberty, freedom. There's nothing that you have to be afraid of. There's nothing that you have to be worried about. When you understand this, the nature of things, that everything is emptiness in its nature, the way things are is like that. It's appearing, relatively everything is very clear and very there, but its nature is emptiness, interdependence. And we are, or our consciousness is also nothing totally concrete or anything like that. It's clear light, it's awareness. You don't need to be stuck with anything, you don't need to have any space, you don't need to get too much attached to anything, you don't need to have aversion to anything. You can be totally free, you can run, you can fly, you can do anything, and it's totally okay, there's nothing to. So something like that, you become totally free. So that way, when you look inside, when you look at yourself and your conscious, how you are seeing things, that time, then you let your mind completely relax and things like that. And then, of course, the thoughts will come, emotions will come, all kind of different things will come. Whatever is happening, it's just manifestation or play of your own awareness. Your consciousness has this special nature of awareness. It's a clarity. And because of that clarity, it can have thoughts, it can have images, it can have emotions, it can have perceptions, it can have all those things. You don't need to be disturbed by them, You don't need to be disturbed by them. These are just, natural kind of manifestations or natural kind of radiance, natural qualities of the awareness. As long as there is ocean, there will be waves. You cannot find an ocean without waves. But waves is part of the ocean, and it is ocean itself. Ocean doesn't need to be bothered by the waves, because wave is ocean, the ocean is wave. Ocean doesn't harm the wave or help the wave, it is the. So in the same way, any thoughts and emotions and whatever arises in your mind, it is totally okay, it's part of the mind, it's the nature of the mind, it's the display of the mind, it's the quality of the mind. So if you just completely let it be like that, it doesn't disturb you, it doesn't harm you, you just have to let it be. And that's the secret of the meditation. How much you can let it be. How much you are not disturbed by these thoughts and emotions, things like that. If you try to get rid of them, if you try to wish them off, if you try to push them out, if you try to do something to make this disappear, then you cannot do it. But if you understand this, if you accept this, if you just allow that to be, it's not a problem. It's the way it is. It's okay. It's just you relax in it. It arises by itself. It dissolves by itself, doesn't matter. So once we understand how to do that, he says we know how to meditate. Yeah? So it's very, very important. It's very, very important because many times we try to, that we don't have the thoughts, or we have to have very peaceful. Okay, I'm very peaceful now, but then somebody is talking. That is not real meditation. The real meditation is that you can have any disturbance and it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Tombing on the ripi no korchi, tawala todume to tingruwa. In the state of emptiness, whirl the spur of pure awareness. People of Tingri, the view is free of being caught by anything at all.